Preacher here with a video about everything you need to know about the brand new update for Chapter 6 on Fortnite Mobile. How it affects our HUD, the movement, the new edit mechanics. Timestamps in the description below. First thing we're going to talk about is the movement changes. There's a handful of things that are different now. One thing that is going to happen when you get on the game is you're going to have an additional sprint button on your screen. It's going to be this button that says Tactical Sprint. I don't know the significance of that yet. If you do, please comment. In my testing, I have found no differences in their function inside the game. So just pick which one you want. I'm just going with the tactical one because if I'm worried about anything that might happen, I'm using that. But regardless, when you do this, we have a few things. The first, most notable one is when you sprint and jump, you can go a 2-block distance here. And again, the same thing, what you do, you just get sprint to full speed, jump, and then it'll take you that distance. Another thing that we have that's a little bit different is the wall crawl. They have replaced the clambering mechanic with the doubled wall jump here. So just double tap, and then you will go up the wall. Okay, so wall kicking. So you run up to the wall, press jump once. For wall kicking, go boom and hit it. The big thing and how you're going to mess it up, you see I've been messing up a few times, is because you can't look at it. If you look at it straight on, you're going to do the other mechanics. You need to make sure that you're within a 45-degree angle of it. You need to look to the side, okay? So look within this way when you're trying to do it. So you can do it that way. You can do it this way, but you gotta try looking at a certain angle, or else if you go straight on, you're not gonna do it. An added reminder from VoiceOver Preacher that this uses your jump fatigue, so you can only use it so many times like your regular jumps do until your jump duration starts to shorten and you need to wait for your energy to refill. The last movement mechanic is the barrel roll, as you've actually been seeing me doing. You hold your button down at the end and you will barrel roll. You do take fall damage from this, so please be careful doing it. If I don't, I just land normally, okay? If I do, you gotta get a little bit of momentum going, but then you can do it. We now get to the next section of our mobile changes and our HUD layouts, and that has to do with how we're going to be interacting, at least in this chapter, seemingly with scoped weapons. You are going to look at your HUD, and there's going to be a few things different. One of the things is this button here. It is labeled Canting, and so you have your ADS button that you need to keep, and this one you need to keep as well. Unfortunately, they're cluttering up our stuff a little bit, but I'll explain exactly what this does here. So first of all, this is going to just be on your HUD. You're not going to notice it until you get a scoped weapon, and it will appear just default somewhere, but this is what it looks like, and this is what it does. When you aim in like normal, but now when using it, you have the option to unscope. Don't know if that's a word, but that's what I'm going to do it. You're still ADS'd, but now it's like you don't have a scope on it. You can always get it back by hitting the button again. And then the next time you go into ADS, it'll be like that. Same thing, vice versa, right? If you're not wanting to use the scope, say you're in more close quarters and you're just trying to have a fight closer and you don't want to be zoomed in, it'll stay that way. It'll stay that way until you undo it. The next portion of our HUD that needs to be discussed is actually this button here. Your secondary fire button, I should say. Secondary ability. This will be important for one of the masks as well as the swords, and I'm going to show all of that. With the Fire Oni Mask, you don't need any updates to your HUD necessarily, you just need to know that the fire button is how it works. Whoa! Bro, you can even see where it goes too. Whoa, bro, that's trippy. What? A few things to note here about this mechanic is making sure you have the secondary ability button there so you can use it for this, which is teleporting. Also, the teleport seems to stay for an extended period of time. I've not played long enough or had it in one place long enough to where it disappeared, so my assumption is that it stays there until you need it or until you throw another one. One other thing to note about this is you don't actually have to wait for it to land. I thought you had to wait for it to land this whole time, and you actually don't. You can activate it at any point during its arc, and you will not take fall damage. The last we'll talk about with these new items is the Typhoon Blade. The Typhoon Blade, unlike its predecessor, the Katana, does not have a good dash. It goes very short, and it still gives you fall damage, at least it did earlier to me. Now the thing that is good about it is its sprinting. Its sprinting is actually very good. And it might be a reason to carry this thing if you need some kind of mobility, next to nothing, is your ability to run with it. You see, I'm more jumpy, kind of like the Avatar, Last Airbender, and how I can move. You can do a little twisty jump with it until your sprint runs out, and then you can do this fast running. So, all in all, not bad. You also then have a down strike, and then you have a regular sword attack that goes with it. Another thing to note about the sword is that your sprint goes down so much slower when you're using it. You can also have this little dash as well when you're going into it. So you're running, and if you have like a secondary jump that you can do. Not a bad item, all in all, in my opinion. The last part that we're going to look at is, you guessed it, the simple edit. You enable simple edit going into your settings here, going down to building, doing simple edit. This is what it looks like on mobile. So, alright, you just do it, and then go do it immediately. So center, this will give you a window down there. It'll tell you beforehand, you see? In the center where it tells you, down there. Now you can just memorize what does what. Center does this, left does that, left does that. Bottom one does a door. And before that, I'm going to show you all the other ones. You need to see is the ramp. It'll tell you to switch. The other setting that we have with this is called Simple Tap to Edit On. When enabled, it will require a single press. When disabled, the simple tap input must be held for the duration timer. This is what that looks like. And you saw just what it looked like with it off. Man, that is a weird feeling. But that is the new setting and how you can enable it on mobile. If you have questions about how I have one button reset, check out my video. If you have any other questions on how to use different things this season, please put them in the comments. Hope this helped. Have a good day.